Good morning, everybody. This is Scott George again, and this is another episode of the Wolf in the Neural Network. It's been a long time since I've made a video. That's because I was working on other things, the Wolf in the Neural Network in life, and dealing with the damage these individuals have caused. Now, I did release the previous version of the Wolf in the Neural Network on June 30th, 2024. The next day would have been a holiday. It would have came in on a Tuesday. I said they would need 2 days to review it, and then we'd get a response. And 4 days later, the director of CSIS, David Fano, announces his retirement. To date, that is 8 high-profile resignations associated with this, not to mention all the other events and data. Literally, AI assigns like a 4.45 times 10 to the power of 19 chance of random association. Like, basically, you would be stupid, criminally negligent, to not understand that these things are correlated, and that something else is going on here. And that's just an objective review from just like a statistical look at the data and how to interpret it. And so, what we need to discuss now is what they're going to currently do, okay? So, if we go back to when they arrested me and tortured me and completely, Nova Scotia Health Authority completely fabricated a record, so did Halifax Regional Police. After I got out, within a month or so, they announced a historic vote of no confidence against the Chief of Police, Dan Kinsella. At the same time, I just found out my mother had a tumor and cancer, and we were dealing with all that, so it took me some time, so I released my longer review on October, I believe, 22nd, 2023. And what you'll see is, at the same time, they were deleting the EMIT contracts from the website. Now, when I say the EMIT contracts, is I found my phone's GPS location set to 9330, highway number 7, Stillwater, Nova Scotia. And then I tracked down pictures of the owner at Irving Shipbuilding, and then found the military contracts associated with it. And these contracts are company named EMIC. It is a sister company of Cambridge Analytica, with their parent company SCL Group, which was involved in all this foreign election interference. Right? It was a whole global inquiry into it, right? So what they were doing at the same time is I'm sending these emails and stuff, they're deleting these EMIT contracts from the website, and then they're sending the police to my house to terrorize me. Right? So I literally had blisters all over my feet from walking to see my mother, and they're sending RCMP here telling me they're trying to find a reason to charge me, knowing that they lied about all of this and that I'm reporting a sexual assault. Like, this was all reported in the October submission. Well, like the part about the sexual assault, somebody touching me, was actually submitted on August 3rd, the evening of the events that happened. So within 12 hours of meeting Kristen Holm, and in a Curran. So, like, there's a massive level of consistency to that. And that tells you that all these parties seen this. So then if we jump forward then to when my mother passed away, January 29, 2023, the morning at 1:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning, Tim Houston, somebody presenting themselves, Tim Houston shows up at the hospital. And again, you can read the review and everything. I was open about my bias. And think about what they were really doing there, right? We got to look at the SaltWire Postmedia, or the Postmedia, and that they just acquired different assets of SaltWire, right? Because the whole core issue goes back to 2019 between the J.D. Irving and Postmedia, and I assume that's what I got dragged up in, right? That I just was either a name added to a bucket is just like a kind of a side quest, or for some reason they thought that I was associated with it, or they just wanted to frame me, right? So we got to look at the morning that they showed up. Right? Now, you have Jamie Irving is now going to be the executive director of Postmedia. You've got all these different associations. Now, if I would have even moved the wrong way that morning, what story do you think they would have played in the media? Of course, they would have played their story where they're all the victims, right? RCMP would say, well, we didn't know. How could we know? We're the heroes. We're just the victims. Oh, it's just public safety. It's bullshit, right? Of course they fucking know. Dennis Daly knows and Mike Doomey knows. But that's the kind of fraud these individuals are engaged in, because they know they're in a lot of trouble, including RCMP detachment, because they should have taken the case and allowed me to open a case. What the individuals did is nothing short of a hate crime, really, is they terrorized me with guns and weapons and lied in their official reports, right? Because how could they tell the truth about what I was asking them and then not allow me to do it? So of course they lied in their reports, right? And they lied 51% in their favor, which was the game the entire time, right? I'm just a retard. They're just cops. They would never lie. They're just heroes, right? Helping everybody live their best life. That's the delusion they live, right? And that matches the record, and of course that's what they're going to do. So you get this compounding bullshit. So now we've got Kristen Holm, CPSNS, and Nova Scotia Health Authority non-contestably lying on their records. Well, at this stage, you also have to note that Tim Houston, back in 2021, removed the Nova Scotia Health Authority Board of Directors and installed basically his buddies, right? One being Karen Oldfield. So think about his position. Think about why he felt so comfortable that morning, and what these people were ultimately going to do. He knew Nancy Murphy lied, right? I've got her on record stating that her record's incomplete and lying multiple times. It's simple. Kristen Holm absolutely was going to lie. She was in a lot of trouble, right? And he knew HRP was going to lie, and he knows that the police are going to lie for each other, right? So think about it. So tell me, everybody, what story would these people have played? They would have played a story where I'm just a piece of trash, and every one of you would have just believed it, right? Absolutely. And you know why? It's because every one of you needs daddy to tell you that I'm a human being. And that, to me, is the weirdest part about this entire project. It doesn't matter about the facts and evidence, right? That it's all compiled, that it's referenceable, I'm a technical, none of that matters, right? What matters is most of you need daddy, the right kind of white, to tell you that I'm a human being. And these people aren't going to tell you I'm a human being. They're going to tell you that they're the heroes. Everybody else is too stupid to know what's going on. And they're just trying to help everybody, right? It's the most delusional bullshit that you can possibly fucking imagine. And that's what these people are going to do. That's right. So now, take a look. So SaltWire, just like I said, Postmedia acquired different parts and assets of SaltWire, right? The next step is EPR. Take a look at my Facebook post before all this happened. And then you can go back and look at my questions to Jamie about Health X Professional Standards, where the disgusting corrupt cop Jonathan Jefferies lied about a sexual assault, lied about all the abuse. You can see I'm asking the questions about Postmedia before Bill C-18 and before then Jamie Irving stepping down, right? So you see the consistency in these things. Now, you're like, why wouldn't Bell Media plays to work? Bell Media stands to get tens of millions of dollars a year. And this is Daddy. If they play a story against them, what's Daddy going to do? Daddy's going to try to give them a spanking. That's what's going to happen. You can't say anything against Daddy. So they're obviously going to come against me. And then the media would just say, well, we didn't know. Why would Tim Houston lie? Why would the RCMP lie? They're just heroes. Oh, they're just heroes. But, of course, the media knew the difference, right? Because they were engaged the entire time, and they were provided with the recordings, they were provided with the Wolf and the Neural Network, and they were provided with access to ask me questions and treat me like a human being, and they know they didn't. So now they would have to all answer that to the public. Think about it. Now Bell Media is going to have to explain why they didn't play this story, and their only excuse, they're the heroes, they're the victims, life's so hard, right? Postmedia, same thing. Bell Media made $700 million in one quarter. You tell me how their life is hard in any way. That's right, they're not the victims, right? Those are delusional predators. If they want to call themselves victims and they consider them victims, then what is the rest of the world for dealing with what they deal with, right? When you have that level of delusion, you can't expect a reasonable, rational response from some individual. So this tells you how far this actually goes up the tree in Bell Media, right? Because this level of delusion sits at the top. Right? This has nothing to do about facts and evidence. It has everything to do with those specific individuals not wanting to face their own delusions. Where if you take away their guns, money, and blind authority, right? What are they? They're nothing. They can't even answer basic questions. Right? Look how they would screw me over. Look how they would screw the country over. Look how they would just lie, cheat, and steal. And they know that. And they know that I can see them right now. And they know that all of Nova Scotia, all of Canada, the world can see them. So what do you think they're going to do? Do you think they're going to face it like I'm facing it? No, because they don't have integrity, they don't have a backbone, they don't have professionalism, and they're scared of Daddy, right? To put it short, they're a bunch of fucking cowards, right? If money can't do it, then they can't do it. Think about that. Think about how useless a lot of these people really are, right? They can't come forward, they can't answer a question. That's what it's going to be. And so we're left in this situation now where clearly they're not going to come forward. All this evidence exists. RCMP are on the hook for massive, massive negligence. And they told me, Jessica, that if I even mention J.D. Irving, they will have me fucking arrested and pumped full of drugs. Right? So what are they going to do? They're got to be the victims, right? So now Tim Houston moves forward the election dates while he's talking about moving forward. Look at it. It was an election promise that he said he wasn't going to do. So why do you think he's moving these forward and stuff now? I'd say there's a good question to be had about this issue since, you know, the spy chief and all these resignations occurred, right? And that's most likely so he can try to get ahead of the lump of information. So if he can get reelected, then he can control the flow of information after. If he doesn't get elected, then whoever gets elected gets to control the flow of information. And do you think that that's going to be necessarily nice to Tim Houston? No, they're going to be obviously very critical of him. And he knows that. So his best bet now is to try to get short-term gain. So lie through it. He's the victim. Life's so hard. He tried everything. Or just attack my character and say that it was all justified. Of course, look, he's just a retard. So even we didn't get him here. Look, he's just a retard, just a retard. And that's what he's going to play because it's the only play he has. You take away his guns, money, blind authority. You take away the media. Look at him. Can't answer a basic question. Think about what he really did the night that my mother died. Think about it in terms of predatory instincts. I was at the weakest in my life. My best friend just passed away. And they showed up, snuck up behind me to stab me in the back so they could pretend they're heroes and big men. Right? They've threatened my disabled mother multiple times. They threatened children, SUV-stock children, which was reported to RCMP as pedophiles, and RCMP didn't contact them back. These aren't men. Right? These are violent, delusional predators who will do anything so they can pretend they are the victims and the heroes. Right? It has nothing to do with facts or evidence. It has nothing to do with the law. It has nothing to do with decency. It has nothing to do with you and your families or what's fair. It has everything to do with them lying about it because they can't face who they really are when they strip it all away. Right? They can't face that they all got dominated by me. That's what they would have to face. You think they're going to face that? No, they're not going to face that. They're going to build a reality where they're just some hero helping everybody live their best life, and everybody else is too stupid to know what's going on. 150 years in policing and still this level of mistrust, and it's because of that exact same behavior. These individuals couldn't stop this if they wanted to. Welcome to the real Canada. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for taking time to listen. Have a great day.